Both. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, I came to Washington covering labor issues, and the labor movement has had its struggles, but they see some leverage here. Of course, that's going to hurt if these strikes continue. That's going to hurt consumers. And this is a terrible thing for their friend in the White House. And that's why I think that, remember, President Reagan with the airline strikers, he fired them. And you're just not going to see that because labor and the Democratic Party are tied together.
Yeah, it's when Ronald Reagan fired the air traffic controllers in the first year of his presidency and changed the direction of the country. Mikhail Gorbachev said that's when I knew that Reagan would no longer bluff. Andrew Roberts, one of our producers, found a graph. I don't think we have it right now, but it showed that labor unions' favorability was at the highest it's been in 50 years. It was like 68%. Where does that come from?
That's a good question. I mean, as far as the labor movement itself, it knows that its percentage of American workers is small. And they obviously want to increase that. And there's legislation pending in Congress that would make unions stronger. And that has a real possibility to actually pass. Joe Manchin is on board with that. But the unions themselves, they see an opportunity to use their leverage, and they know the situation with what you talked about in the beginning of your show about shortages and people who are not willing to work. They're willing to work, but they want to get paid a lot more. And this is also tied in, Leland, to the minimum wage. Everybody wants, the unions especially, they've been at the forefront of leading for larger wages, even though some of their workers are already getting well above minimum wage. So it's all tied up in that and the frustration that they haven't been able to move legislation yet, anyway, that would benefit unions.
One place the unions have an enormous amount of power still is at the ports, which is what President Biden was talking about today and where this pinch point is. And finally, now there's an agreement between the White House, brokered, I should say, by the White House with the Longshoremen's Union to unload so many more ships and actually work 24/7. Evidently, longshoremen were used to working bankers' hours for a while. But it got me thinking that Jen Psaki said, we're going to use every lever of the federal government at our disposal. It seems as though there's a lot of levers right now that the president could pull on as it relates to unions that he's not.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to, certainly before the Virginia governor's race, which I know you were talking about, he's not going to upset the unions and mandate anything that they either nationalize or they have to do this or they have to do that. I'm not sure about the details of that longshoreman, but then there's a question of, okay, if they're going to be working round the clock, what kind of wages are they getting for overtime or double time and that kind of thing? So that's something, this is a prickly issue for the White House. The headlines have not been good in the summer with Afghanistan and the economy now. And unless things turn around, this could really affect Joe Biden's ability to actually get his domestic agenda through by Christmas, which, as you know, you talked about, it's, are people going to get their presents by Christmas? And the fact that, people may have to be signing up and getting what they want before Halloween to make sure it gets to Christmas. That is a big issue for voters because those are everyday issues. And that could really hurt Biden's popularity. He got off to a good start. 100 days was pretty good, got the COVID bill done. But since then, it's been tough sledding.
Boy, it's been very, very tough going and seems to just keep getting worse. The president today coming out, giving a speech, it's sort of admitting to another crisis as it was unfolding is rare. Normally you hear from presidents once the administration's tried to clean a crisis up. Last question for you. You think about all this heading towards Christmas. Before Christmas, we have Thanksgiving. Is there a way that the president has and controls the Thanksgiving conversation in a positive rather than a negative way?
Leland, I'm not sure how we can turn things around at this point. It's interesting today that in his, when talking to reporters, he was mentioning the bipartisan infrastructure bill, leaning that they need that. But he did not press progressives to actually get in line and pass that before this big, whatever, $3.5 trillion, $2.5 trillion, whatever the number's going to be. So is he going to start to change his tune on that? We need the bipartisan bill first because that has billions of dollars for ports. That's going to be one to watch, Leland.
Yeah, October 31st, Halloween week, is evidently the deadline for the discussion on that bill. That's when Nancy Pelosi says she wants a vote on it. Bob, great to see you as always. Thank you.
Thanks, Leland.